Hi, it's Sean Bergen here, the developer of OneTrack. I'm just going to go through 14 new features added to version 2. I just want to go through them briefly. So for number 1, let's navigate into the settings view. One of the main features in OneTrack has always been the vital separation of the master volume level from the level of individual tracks. I've taken this one step further on version 2, and by toggling on the Save Volume switch, you can now be sure that every time you come back into OneTrack, the master volume will be remembered. New feature number 2 is an enhancement to our count-in facility. Sometimes you might need a little more than a large time-based countdown to your track. Now you can have a visual metronome to count you in at whatever tempo and measure your song needs. You can even tap along to a playing track if you're not sure of its tempo. Number 3 is Always Autoplay. Sometimes you want OneTrack to be a bit more like iTunes for a while, maybe to play some incidental music while you take a break. With Always Autoplay switched on, your tracks will play automatically one after another, just like iTunes. Our fourth improvement was requested by a number of users, the ability to selectively skip tracks in our playlist. Most users leave this turned on, but I have it switched off by default to remain consistent with version 1. When it's turned on, you get a little tick box next to each track in the track's view. This allows you to toggle each track on or off. This can be done while your setlist is playing, although obviously the currently playing track cannot be deselected. And the last addition to our settings view is the ability to selectively reset stored data. Before, when we did a reset, we cleared out everything. Now we can choose to just reset volume levels, mark out points, whatever. Back out in our tracks view for feature number 6. You can now tap on the view title to find out how long your playlist runs for and how many tracks are in it. The running time takes into account all your modified in and out markers, as well as any count-ins you've set. The time is recalculated if you disable or enable tracks as well. And back into our main view for number 7. You can now tap on the current track's name to get a condensed view of the track details. This is an area which I hope to add considerably to in future releases, allowing you to examine and edit details specific to each track. Improvement number 8 is another frequent user request, the ability to follow device rotation. I have taken the opportunity to redesign the playing interface to give a simpler, more immediate control, albeit with a bit less depth. Even when one track is locked in landscape mode, you're able to navigate between tracks with one click. Back to portrait mode for number 9, and we can see that the play controls in the locked view have been enhanced. To avoid any accidental taps, OneTrack still looks for a second tap to register a change, but you now have direct control over skipping tracks, as well as playing and pausing them. As before, you get 2 seconds to respond to the button after your first tap, or else it just fades away. Number 10 is a bit of polishing and refinement of the Mark In and Mark Out tab. Times are now editable down to hundredths of a second, and we have a simple one-tap move to register a mark when your track is playing. To reset a mark, merely stop the track, tap the time, and hit the red button to reset it. Number 11 is more of an enhancement than a feature. OneTrack now fades your tracks rather than stopping them abruptly when pause is tapped. It'll also fade out the end of a track if you set a mark out point, rather than just chopping it as it did before. From iOS version 4.2, Apple includes the ability to stream music over Wi-Fi using AirPlay. OneTrack can now make use of this and can send output to Apple TV or to an airport base station. Using third-party software such as AirServer or Reflection, you can also stream your music to your Mac. Number 13 is the big one. User playlists can now be created in OneTrack and work seamlessly alongside your current iTunes playlists. The current strengths of your iTunes playlists remain and are now enhanced by the ability to create editable playlists right inside OneTrack. Duplicate an existing playlist or copy tracks in by artist, album, and more. Once created, tracks in your user playlist can be reordered even while your setlist is playing. They can also be deleted, disabled, and added to. In order to add items to a playlist, you'll need to go back in as if you're recreating the playlist, give it the same title, and when it asks you whether you'd like to overwrite it or add to it, choose Add to it and add in the new items. And last but not least is the ability to share data between your devices via iTunes. We are working on iCloud integration, but for now we have the ability to save not only your user playlist, but also any volume, loop, autoplay and other settings made on iTunes playlists.
And I see another sinner on the road I call my own. I'm gonna walk a little faster, and if that's not fast,
this data can be re-imported into OneTrack on another of your devices, allowing you to have a full mirror image of your setup on both machines. If, for some reason, you need a backup during a gig, now you can have one set up and ready to go. Due to iOS limitations, this feature is only available on iOS 4 or later.
I know you think you know it all, but you know it's not the same. I found myself the answer, so I'll
Beyond that, I've made numerous improvements to the user interface and to the underlying functionality of OneTrack to keep it in its position as the go-to app for performers needing intuitive and reliable backing tracks from their iOS device. Thanks for using OneTrack, and I'll be continuing to improve and enhance it over the coming months.